Folks, I'm sorry it's been so long. I made you wait way too long to see Gotrek and Felix settle a grudge here against the Kurgan warband. You know, I hate doing that to you, but it is what it is. Man, work has been an absolute insanity. It's been like fighting off hordes of Kurgan warband in a way. Wait, they attacked me? They attacked me. Wow, they're gonna have to come fight me on the wall. Let's go remind ourselves of a few things. This guy does not have magic. That guy does not have magic. And that guy does not have magic. Oh my gosh, they're gonna get Shrek'd so hard. Oh, they didn't. They have a couple of feral manticores that they can try and swamp the wall with. It's possible their leaders are mounted on such a thing. Oh man, this is going to be an epic beatdown. Anyway, I'm going to talk us into the beginning of this one because there's been some things happening. One, some of you may be in air. What do you think of the changes that they just announced for Warhammer 3? I haven't even gotten to read anything about it. Like, it's been that busy. CA, sent messaging and stuff to us ahead of time in the partner program where we could have prepared for it, but I didn't have any time to prepare for it. You all know more than I do right now about the changes to the game. I think the only notable thing that I caught was that they made it to where if you already have, what do you call it? You don't have to have like all of the base games and DLCs to play Immortal Empires. It sounds like that if you own Game 3, you can play Immortal Empires and you can buy individual DLC and stuff like that in order to use it in Immortal Empires, which is a nice change. And some people will be saying, yeah, that should have been the case when the game released. Yes. yes, it should have. Unfortunately, like many things with Warhammer 3, there should have been a lot of things here when the game released that there just isn't. And I wish I could understand why. I don't, though. I don't get it. I don't understand it. It has crippled the long-term performance of Warhammer 3, in my opinion. I think CA has basically pulled a gun out of the holster, figuratively speaking, and shot themselves in the foot. And it was harder for me to see that right as the game was releasing, because it was so exciting to have something new. Like, we got Kislev and, the Pure Demon factions and stuff like that. And so at first, like, you have all this stuff, you have something new. Warhammer 2 had been so stale that it's kind of like, you know what? This is really fun. They introduced some new mechanics, but it didn't take long for that newness to wear off, and you start to see some of the gaping mistakes. And to me, looking back at it now, right? So if I'm looking back upon the game from a standpoint of it's now been out for a very long time. We've had a lot of time to play it. People know what to expect, all that kind of stuff. Anyway, basically, they launched the game way too soon. Way too soon. Which seems crazy, because remember when we were all waiting back in the day? It seemed like they were going forever slow with Warhammer 3, because we had been on Warhammer 2 forever. However, I think the thing that I didn't quite understand, and maybe others didn't understand, was that Warhammer 2 was kind of the full experience, right? You had Mortal Empires in it. You got like a big, massive experience. More so than we'd had in any Total War game previous to it, right? And now all of a sudden here comes Warhammer 3, and Warhammer 3, just didn't have the full experience. All of the stuff didn't come with it to begin with. Like, so you get all the new factions, but they're not fleshed out like the ones were in Warhammer 2. Immortal Empires didn't release with the game. And some people might be saying, well, they do that with every game. They build out the game's DLC as time goes. I know. I get that. And I think that that's what a lot of us expected, but look at the situation objectively afterwards. It didn't work. You know what I mean? That is what they do. But it didn't work. We had a full game, and you found yourself going backwards to not a full game. That felt like a downgrade for a lot of people. There was a lot of bugs in the game early on that probably shouldn't have been there because, that kind of thing needed to have been beta tested. And so there was just a lot of, glaring stuff that didn't get done, and then it took a long time to fix. Remember how long it took to get like some of our first patches? Do we have a DLC yet? How's the pace of patching been for you all? You know what I mean? Slow? Because my guess is that most of you would say slow. So again, here's what I'm getting at. CA was not prepared for the launch of this game. I don't know the reason. I'm not going to speculate the reason. I mean, it's always easy to say, because the corporates, you know, and stuff like that. And maybe that's the case. I don't know. But I'm not going to sit here and speculate it. The long and short of it is they weren't prepared to release the game. Because they weren't prepared to release the game has died off very quickly in terms of the player base. Very quickly. So it's not good. The game's in rough shape. And I say in rough shape. It's not in some respects, right? The game's quite fun. It's in rough shape in the respect of player base, excitement, right? Anticipation from players. All of those things are in the absolute gutter. And that's unfortunate because in a lot of ways this game has a lot of really great potential. And it's a fun game. I'm playing it right now. I'm having fun with it, with you all in this campaign. So is the game a complete crapshoot? No. No, it's not. It's fun. It needs things, though, and it needed things before it launched that it didn't get, and I think that hurt it very badly. Man, these guys are getting absolutely spanked. Anyway, so it's easy for me to look at some of this stuff after the launch and talk through it. Obviously, people say hindsight's 20/20. That's not always true. Hindsight is better. I wouldn't necessarily always say it's 20/20, but hindsight's better. And I think we understand at this point some of the things that went wrong. And the game never should have been launched without Immortal Empires. I think that the factions in Game 3 should have started either more fleshed out or with DLC available on day one. And now some people will be like, day one DLC, that's the worst, Aaron. All I'm saying is, look, if CA is saying to us, we're not going to give you all these units without you paying for some of them because that's their business model, you may not like it. You can argue against it. You can tell me how it sucks. And that's all good and fine. And you may even be right. All I'm saying is that at least had it been there, we would have had the option to have the full factions. And you could have been arguing about how you hated it still. But again, it would have been there. We would have been left with part of a game that really wasn't ready. So it wasn't there, right? The game wasn't there. It wasn't ready to launch. It's still really not ready. all things considered. So it's a mess. I like the game. Like I said, I like it a lot. I'm playing it right now. I enjoy the game a great deal, and I hope to enjoy it for years to come. But they made marketing mistakes, like the game was released, like I said, the game was released too early, before it was ready. They made timing mistakes. They weren't ready to support it as much as they need to. Honestly, they probably got behind because of the whole pandemic thing, screwing up all the work hours and everything else, and that's fine. That's totally understandable. They should have made the call, though, to do something about it in the sense that, you know, hey, we're holding. We're not going to release the game, okay? And just explain why. Like, we're not where we should be. This game isn't ready to be what it is. We know you hate the wait, but we will make it worth your while. And that's the way they should have put it. And some people say, well, Air, they did delay the game. They did. It needed to be delayed more. A lot more. Probably about a year. Because even now, they're still running behind. They can barely keep up with patches and other work. Again, we haven't gotten a DLC, and some people might say, well, that's because they're fixing the game. It's true. That might be because they rededicated resources for that. But again, this is all a result of the game not having been ready to launch. So the game wasn't ready to launch. Period. I think that's the obvious, painfully obvious takeaway at this point. Is that the game was not ready to launch. So, anyway, that's my thoughts on the state of Warhammer 3. Again, it's going to make me not play it? No. Is it going to make me make a bunch of angry posts on Twitter? Nope. Because first of all, foremost, I just don't have time for any of that because I'm just buried at work and yeah, don't have the slightest bit of time for it. But in any case, yeah, it is what it is. Now, what do I hope for long term in this game? Number one, I hope CA keeps at it like they did with Warhammer 2. Warhammer 2 also grew a lot over its time span, and I hope this one does too. My only worry at this point is, will this game kind of recover its player base? Because it's lost a lot of player base by not having been ready to launch. And I don't know if it's ever going to recover it. I hope it does. I'm going to be optimistic that it will, but I just don't think it will. And it's an unfortunate consequence of launching the game without being ready. And ultimately, it may cost CA too much. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what the consequences will be. But we'll see. Anyway, you all head down in the comments. Tell me what you think the current state of Warhammer 3. Are you frustrated? Do you think it's okay? Do you agree with me, disagree with me? Would love to get some of your thoughts there. Sorry, I've been trying to play while I fight a lot of this as well, so be patient with me here. I'm gonna drop that there and come over and attack these guys so they'll stay still, or hopefully I can bombard more of them. Not great. Not bad, though. I'm gonna stay after some of these units over here. I need some reinforcements up on the walls here. It looks like my 2 Terracotta Sentinels are holding the gateway. Oh, I need to bring Gotrek over. He wants some action. Let's bring Gotrek Garrison over here.
For the Emperor! Jade crossbows.
My units aren't doing a good job of continuing to fire there, which is a little bit frustrating. Alright, I'm going to bring up more Celestial Dragon Guard there. Throw another Talons of the Night.
As always.
Throw another bombardment here. I'm just going to keep laying it on thick. These guys have no prayer of breaking through this gate. No prayer. Kind of surprised army losses haven't already taken over, but I think it's because they're still getting reinforcements, maybe. Yeah, we've now got a ton of troops on the wall, so they're going to get totally outweighed on the wall. Where did Miao Ying... Did she end up going... Yeah, okay, Miao Ying went back through the gate. That's funny. Let's take our dragon crossbows. Pull them this direction. Gotrek is headed this way. All of our other units are kind of not in a good position at the moment. Felix is getting killed. I wonder if we can get him out of there. Okay, he's running away. Hopefully he'll be able to run away. Felix is doing what Felix does best, which is not being as good as Gotrek. Drop some pain there on them. Thought I had 2 Terracotta Sentinels right there. Here's the other one. We're getting some brutal Talons of the Night on these guys. There we go. That's gonna feed them the army losses. And it looks like Felix will live to survive it. He got some healing. Nice. Must have his ability there or something. Alright. Good victory. Okay, so the battle is over. We can take the extra cash, or we can replan Gotrek's army a tiny bit. I will just take the cash. Gotrek and Felix want some extra money for the pub. Dragon's Crossroad is going to get hit by the leftovers from that battle. It is what it is. Can't do much to prevent that at the moment. Alright, let's go remind ourselves where we're at. So there is a bunch of Kurgan trash still outside the wall, and then we've got Townsend's Spawn Seeker up there, and then of course Kolek is wasting his time sieging a settlement that he could, I think, easily, well, maybe not easily take at the moment. I don't know, we'll see. I say easily should be able to take, but they haven't been able to do it yet.
Shugengan Lord reporting.
I am going to... Okay, Miao Ying is busy recruiting a war elephant. We just went over into Yang Harmony +2.
Must be defended.
I think it's because we finished that research. Yes, we were in Yang +2. That one gives +3 yen. Let's do this, and then we'll see if we can find
The Celestial
a building to build somewhere, and we'll take care of it. Looks like Miao Ying's character leveled up here, but there's really probably nothing left to even put this in, is there? There isn't. It's funny, that one doesn't become available until 50, but there's nowhere else to put the skill points. It's another small CA please moment there. We'll have to ignore that. Lord not move. Let's go check out our southern flank. If I remember right, there was still a lot of vampires in the vicinity. I want to say that there was a bunch up here as well that are probably not in my field of view at the moment, because I remember there being many armies.
The magistrate stands ready.
Okay, so we're going to kind of continue to just
Spread the
guard
Emperor's
things
word.
here at the Vale of Titans.
Guided by my ancestors.
Let our armies heal, and we'll just keep chaos from being able to come in. We're kind of playing a somewhat defensive game
An upper
here.
hand, indeed.
Alright.
The Lord Magistrate stands
I'm gonna put the Lord Magistrate into this settlement. That army is probably not gonna do well if it attacks the Shrine of the Alchemist. Though it could. I don't know. Depends on how the auto-resolve goes. We've all seen that go one way or the other in surprising fashion. See, down here with the vampires, I would love to go, like, take the fight to the vampires, but they probably still, like I said, got multiple armies just off screen, so instead I'm going to kind of continue to lay traps for them and see if we can lure them into our loving arms.
Shogungan Lord reporting.
And it looks like I'm attempting to do the same over here, so I'm going to continue that because I want to say there's like 3 or 4 more vampire armies there. But we're going to want to be careful here. Not get ahead of ourselves. Though those 2 armies are pretty strong and should be able to hold their own. So, going to be a little bit safe of me to do here, but I'm basically just going to end this turn. I think we can trigger the Dragon Emperor's Wrath here, though. So for any armies within our walls, like that one from Kolek's faction, they're going to not be enjoying life at the moment, which is great. That's the way I prefer it, is for them to not be enjoying life very much. I could put in the buildings here. I could put in this building. And then... actually, I mean, I am going to put in a Shrine of the Alchemist, because that just helps me with recruiting everywhere. Alright, I'll go ahead and do that. And then let's end our turn. I'm not going to overspend on the buildings, because I need to make sure we keep enough money for a few turns of attrition, just in case someone gets us into an unexpected bad position. That huge canal is really cool. That's a neat feature they have on the map. Grand Cathay is just kind of a fascinating faction, to be honest. They have really cool colors, neat units. The map that they dwell in is really cool. I like it. I like what CA did with them. And I hope we get to see another faction like this. I feel like Warhammer 3 needs so much work, like we talked about earlier. It needs more, right? It needs those patches there. It needs the content to come. It also, I think, needs another big surprising thing. And maybe that will bring people back, right? And that might be a strategy that CA is capable of pulling off. Working with Games Workshop to bring like Ind or Koresh or Nippon or something into the game. Something unexpected, but super exciting. That could be a cool way to try and repopulate the interest in your game at this point, despite the fall off, I think, that you had after launch. That could be a really neat way to do it, in fact. So there's another, hang on, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 vampire. I told you there were a bunch of armies up in the mountains. I knew this. Honestly, like, it's just more vampires. We could kill them. We could also just auto-resolve them. I mean, I'm pretty sure we know how this works. That one's like literally all skeletons and zombies, so we know that didn't go anywhere. There's quite a few tough units in some of the other ones, but I mean, I've got a cannon, multiple rocket launchers. Like, these guys aren't gonna make it. I'm just gonna go ahead and auto-resolve this because we've fought the vampires like 7,000 times. This is like Captain Kirk and the Klingons. Like, it just keeps happening over and over again. And we all know how that story ends. Alright. So that's 5 vampire armies that suffered rather large losses on that turn end. Will it slow them down? And the answer is, of course not. Of course not. Right, Shang Yang got plague, an ambush was foiled. Obsidian lodestone. We got wounded? Yeah, look at this. That's funny. So they came up and wounded one of our characters. That's irritating. So we're gonna have to wait for them to respawn. It's irritating because it's one of our gates got besieged. Holy Kurgan.
The storm dragon.
Oh, that stopped our recruiting. Oh well, it's not like they're gonna actually accomplish anything here. It looks like between without even having Miao Ying here, they've got a GG easy.
Return to the Emperor's bosom.
So that leaves that last stack out there, and they are suffering massive attrition. Alright, we got our harmony balance too. Nice. That actually might be because this got torn down here. I don't remember. Whatever the case is. Yeah, because if we repair that, it'll actually go back 1 to yen. Okay. We'll deal with the balance as it comes. Alright, looks like Towson's moving down here. Man, they are taking a lot of attrition through there.
I think not.
That guy's not, though, oddly enough. Okay. Vampires have yet another army back here. They are recruiting their own decent units, I think.
Celestial
Because at this point... Oh, it wasn't... I thought it was those armies that got all the action on that turn. It was not. It was these guys down here.
Descended from celestial glory.
Ah, that's funny. Well, we're replenishing at a good clip there. We can just stand still. The vampires don't have enough to come back together and challenge me. So we should be safe. Let's see. We got logistician. We can finish up quartermaster. She's gonna put more money in her pocket and then maybe unlock talons of the night. It's good to have lots of blob busting capability because when you end up against these huge armies, being able to bust up a blob quickly and efficiently is always important. And between our Wujing war compasses and all this magic that we have, we will be more than capable of busting up a blob.
By blood rights.
Ooh, yeah, getting our sentinels pretty strong there. Alright. Let's see. Got a word not moved. It's okay, we don't intend to move them. I think we should go up here and give the Maw gates back to the ogres. But we're gonna proceed with caution, you know, take our time.
Insult will not stand.
Do things right. Not get ahead of ourselves and cause a big unnecessary setback. Actually drop those in stone gaze.
By blood right.
We've been making good use of sentinels, so it's probably good to have stone gaze in all the armies so that they can help beat down our enemies more effectively. I guess we'll just throw it into boost income, I don't know. And then over here, Zhao Ming, the Iron Dragon. He is on his 45th skill point. We were building up his own prowess, which is becoming considerable.
To my experiments.
I love his voice, it sounds cool. Alright, let's see. Go ahead and Boiling Skies. Lord not moved, Lord not moved. Okay, there's Lord not moved. I mean, we could move out and attack him, but why? I just want Miao Ying to finish her death stack here. And then I'll be pretty happy with the state of her army. I think you all should be too. It is quite good. Unassigned skill points.
Lord reporting.
Okay, this army... I was waiting on some, construction to finish. That construction has finished. So I am going to... Oh man, look how much better our recruiting is now.
To serve me is
Thank you all for
service
noting that
is
to me.
every
It's much
Carthage's
appreciated.
Does the spirit dragon approve?
Alright, the spirit dragon does approve.
Serve and honor your ancestors.
Alright,
I
Searing
will
Doom.
not tolerate sloth.
We've got that army recruiting. Throw some money at these more central provinces back here. We can throw in an alchemist tower because they have been stupid handy. And then let's maybe back here put in this one. Alright. Yeah, let's save the rest of the cash. Actually, no, I'll build the harbor and then we'll save the rest of the cash. Alright, looking good. Looking good. I don't think we need to move anybody else for this turn. We have a damaged building, but it's outside the gate, so it's not going to be worth our effort. We can dispatch a caravan, but that's also not going to be worth our effort because our caravans are just going to be cut down in perpetuity until we clear out the caravan of blue roses. There is just no way we're getting through there. And then even if we do, we may not, because remember that all the dwarves are all mad on bad ale and fighting us. And the wood elves are going to be fighting us. Like, almost every faction is going to be out to get us. At this point, there will be some that are not. If any of the Empire survives and other ones like that, they won't necessarily be out to get us. What is this? The Vale of Titans? Helman Gorsh just stumbles into his own death? What a moron. That is reeks of desperation. It gave me more casualties there than I deserved. Try and take this back. There's another. Is that still Gorst? Like where he fled back? I don't know. I have to keep an eye on that. Bloodwind Keep is going to finally lose to the Heralds of the Tempest here. We might be able to fight and win this, but I just don't feel like messing with it. I mean, it's not the end of the world. We're about to bust out of the wall anyway. As soon as these Kurgan Warband go away, we are coming out of the wall with a vengeance, and Chaos is going to reap the whirlwind there. It is not going to be pretty for him. Scheme of Doom performed. And the Kurgans are indeed almost dead. In fact, this ought to seal their fate right here. They might run away from me. No, they can't. Never mind. Excellent. So, rest in pepperonis, you sweet Kurgans. You've been defeated once again. You are pathetic and uninteresting. And no one will miss you. Alright. So, it's going to change our harmony balance there too, over into yin. And
It shall please the dragon.
let's get back
Fly
to
the Emperor's flag.
our settlements.
Redouble your speed.
Alright, that'll give me the better upkeep.
Gotrek, Gernishak.
Alright, and now Miao Ying has her army put together. Even if they brought all three of their armies,
I think
could they defeat Miao Ying? I don't think so.
Favored daughter.
I'm gonna challenge them to do so. I'm gonna put Miao Ying out here and let him come face the challenge. I don't think he can do it. So I'm gonna put her at Dragon's Crossroad and tempt them. Tempt them to come give me their best shot. Give me your best shot, cowards. Okay. Now, let's take care of the upgrades here. And the upgrades, we're gonna do... Let's do Logistician. It's important to be able to replenish your troops in a big hurry to get right back in the fight. Yeah, see, Miao Ying's army is gonna cost us significantly more upkeep now that we're outside the walls. Those walls are quite handy for that, but I mean, at some point you gotta venture outside the walls. When we... As we can, it would be good for us to open new trade agreements. I know I can extract a good bit of money out of them. I'm just not going to right now because, for all I know, they're like up against the ropes, and they're some of the only factions out there like willing to trade with us and stuff. So I don't want to take away all their money and get them killed over the next few turns. Like for instance, it looks like the High Elves aren't near as strong as they should be. Etienne or Etienne, however you say it, they are
now that you are here,
hurting too. They also want to trade. Good. Let's propose said offer.
As you say.
Who else is interested?
Master Butcher! Reckon I'll take your
Oh,
red off.
what was that? Oh, settlements. I thought it was strength rank, and I'm like, what?
You didn't respect the boss, so the boss is gonna have ya. That'll do the job.
If the boss is gonna have me, then why did he have a trade agreement? Doesn't make sense, man. Think about your words before they come spewing out of your gut. No? Just things to consider. Alright, that boosted our income pretty nicely. Though, of course, we could lose a bunch of that trade at just about any time based on all the different people that are going to be attacking us ferociously.
City Commander.
Alright, the Shrine of the Alchemist is nearly completed. We could go ahead and put in some Yang income there to balance things. I'll keep this building slot ready in case we get out of whack again. Let's Shang Yang. Took a beating there, so we'll fix it. And we are pretty much ready. Our challenge, we kind of threw down the gauntlet there with Miao Ying, and we're kind of telling the enemies, you know what?
I can
Come get you some. Here I am. What you gonna do about it?
Never flag, never falter.
Our path is clear.
The dragon's command.
So Helman Gorse is not running away. I guess he just doesn't mind dying because
Burn the Emperor's
he just
blood.
gets reanimated. Vampire way, I guess.
There is no call for cruelty.
Yeah, life's not been good to them, and neither has the afterlife at this point.
Gun Lord reporting. Sent by our ancestors.
Eat, rest, and prepare.
Celestial ancestors.
This army's not particularly dangerous to me, and nor is that one. Okay. So I'm not super worried. I think we're in a pretty good
Offspring
position
of
here.
dragons.
Let's take a look at our skill points. Open up Talons of the Night. Let's do Stone Gaze
It
there.
befits
Make
my
our
high station.
automatons even stronger.
Chosen by dragons.
And let's see, Stone Gaze, Reassuring Presence, Fervent.
A worthy addition to my arsenal.
I'm gonna Cassadora, Chain Lightning.
Child of the Nine.
Yep, and we're still replenishing down there. Let's rebuild our defenses here. Yeah, we'll go ahead and... I don't really need that building, but we'll go ahead and build it.
Child of the Nine.
Alright, I am going to
It shall be effortless.
take the Maw Gate. I'm gonna colonize it.
Pathways will.
I'm gonna turn around and hand it to Greasus. This is the only way Greasus stays alive, by the way. Initiate diplomacy.
The nobler
Trade settlement. Have yourself a Maw Gate, please. We're gonna propose the offer. Okay. So we have given Greasus
Born
a
to
mighty
rule.
gift. Bring my two armies together so that we can support each other. These guys are pinched. They're going to want to fall back from there. I don't think that's a good place for them to be operating from, but I guess maybe they'll prove me wrong. I doubt it, but they can attempt to do so.
Speed
Shrine
and
of the
unity.
Alchemist. Excellent. Looking good here. Looking good. Build up some more income. Caravan. Alright, let's end this another turn, and we'll get ready to strike out into the Chaos Waste now. We're gonna go take back what we had already taken, and continue the push against our enemies. I feel like we're in the driver's seat at this point, as long as we don't do anything stupid. We've resisted basically that big push right after the apocalypse. I have another army training that can defend my interior provinces. The wall is going to be basically impenetrable at this point, which means the attack has to come through basically Ogre Country. And I just don't see anybody successfully pushing through there and actually stopping us. Now this could be interesting. Now somehow these guys had 2 additional armies that I couldn't see, which is amazing. I don't know how this works. Like, we were pretty close to these guys, so maybe they had... These were the armies up to the north. Maybe they had a couple of armies off to my north that I couldn't see. Honestly, the auto-resolve's being pretty kind to us here because we're beat up to a fair degree. And all it's going to cost me is the lives of a few of my halberds, which is something we can get back from the global recruitment pretty quickly. So I'm just going to go ahead and take that.
In order to ranks.
I'll take the cash off of it because the replan is going to be insignificant. We got a lot of cash off that fight. So I think the auto-resolve was being overly kind to us there, if I'm being honest. And like I said, I'll take those when it gives it to me. When the auto-resolve is dumb enough to hand me a gift such as that, then I will not hesitate to take it. I think we've got the plague that is causing us to not replenish as well, which that sucks. Enduring Skaven Plague. That's freaking annoying. How many turns have I got Skaven Plague? 4 turns of Skaven Plague? What a hot load of garbage.
There is no cause nobler.
Alright, so... Be better if we could put some elite units back in this army.
Fire and metal.
We probably
shall
ought
save
to head down out of the mountains.
us. A most thoughtful strategy.
The dragon-blooded.
I'm gonna pull these 2 armies back a little, just in case there's more forces, because they keep surprising me with just how many forces that they have right out of
Natural
sight. Even though I keep telling myself to not be surprised and to always anticipate more,
I was born.
it's like I just never learned my own
The
lesson.
Lord Magistrate stands ready.
All right, so we got idiotic Skaven Plague. That's pretty annoying. It's marksmanship. That marksmanship could be fun. Let's mess with that.
Surely, a gift
Alright,
from
because I've
the
not used it ever much before, and so we'll just see what it's like. Common Kazandora. Okay, good. He's got his Wujing War Compass, which is amazing. Just throw one there. Okay. So we'll bring these armies back. We'll replenish a little bit. Get their troops put back together, because they got a little bit banged up there, but nothing that seems like the end of the world here. I'm going to be a little bit careful with these other 2 armies, though, because I don't want to let troops get behind me, and I don't want to lose ground, so I'll have to play this one carefully. Why is this one suffering attrition? Vampiric attrition? How did they increase vampiric attrition here? That just doesn't seem to make much sense. I've got 2 armies present.
Celestial ancestors.
They must be spreading an absolute crap load of attrition.
My purposes.
I have to fall back here then
Fate reveals the path.
until we get healed up. Oh my gosh, 2 more vampire armies, and look, that one's full of Terrorgeist. They are definitely recruiting these somewhere. I was thinking maybe they just handed it to them. Receives Plague. I'm actually going to go ahead and take these
I will be obeyed.
armies, and I'm going to push
A thoughtful
in this direction.
maneuver.
There is a way.
Many feet, one purpose.
There we go. Alright, so I'm going to push down here towards those vampire armies, try and drive them back, keep them away from Grimtop. See if we can convince Greasus to maybe stay alive, though I'm not seeing a whole lot of anything from Greasus, so I'm not expecting big things. Chaos fell back from Miao Ying's army, and I am, color me not, shocked.
My delights are too much for thee.
My delights
Wherever
are
Cafe
too much
needs
for the...
Allocate shifts as required.
Sure, whatever you say, Broseph. Alright, I'm gonna head out here and cut
I
off
serve no master but the
Demahar or
darkness.
Bubonicus or whatever his ugly name is, and we're gonna take him out of the fight.
Celestial ancestors.
Should have the tools to do that. Hopefully we don't
It
get
suits my
too
purposes.
out of our league here. The Great Bastion
A
would be
gift
good.
from my ancestors.
And then with Miao
The
Ying,
majestic defender.
I think I'm gonna push back up.
Cease.
Well, you know what? This army can hit them and then go get Bloodwind Keep. I actually think I'm gonna pull these 2 armies
Wind shape.
and I'm gonna move them up.
Rations will be provided.
We're gonna start to lose a lot of income.
Storm dragon. Ride upon lightning.
Man, she's not gonna suffer hardly any attrition.
I yearn for
Look at the
my
difference. Oh, never mind.
true form. Miao Ying.
Alright, let's just move forward. There we go.
I
Alright,
shall
I'm gonna
claim
push
it.
Chaos back with these two armies.
Is it time?
But yeah, I mean, it's going to eat up our income a little. It's fine, though. We're doing good for now. Anyway, that's going to leave this one. I will see you all soon with some more action in Total War Warhammer 3. I'm going to try and get back on the offensive. It's actually kind of hard, despite how many armies we have. There's just so many enemies, so consistently, and so thoroughly that it makes it hard to put together a push. But, I mean, I feel like we're not too far from it, potentially, because we have a lot of good troops. This army is part of what dropped that. Of course, we can get back in harmony, and we can get, you know, some more cash as well. I believe we're about to finish more yen research, so I might just go ahead and switch to some yang research for a few turns. We'll get some of those down close. Where was... I had a settlement over here where we could...
On guard.
Let's go ahead and put another yang building in here. That'll work. Okay. Alright, I'm going to end the turn so it'll save the game, and I will see you all on the next episode. HeirofCarthage, signing out for now. See you then.